Welcome back to Cross Country Rally News. We continue reading selected articles from our magazine for those who prefer listening rather than reading. Today, an FIA rule that many competitors still do not fully understand. At Baja Aragón, your rally may effectively be decided after the first 162 kilometers. Not because the first selective section offers the most points, but because failing to finish it means you will not appear in the final classification. Special stages or kilometers. When discussing classification, most people naturally think about distance. If a crew completes enough kilometers, surely they should appear in the final results. The FIA sees it differently. According to the FIA cross-country rally sporting regulations, classification is determined by the number of selective sections completed, not by the number of kilometers covered. Article 58.2.4 states that a crew that has received selective section penalties for more than half of the total number of selective sections will not be classified. Article 58.2.5 adds that, to be classified, a crew that has received a selective section penalty on the final stage must bring its vehicle to the final parc fermé at least 1 hour before the publication of the provisional classification. The number of kilometers completed is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the number of selective sections completed.
So the question is when a driver will retire from a selective section. To be classified, you must run half of the selective sections of the rally. So here we have 4 selective sections, so you need to do 2 selective sections to be classified at the end of the rally. The prologue is not considered in this calculation. Any driver retiring today from the stage 1 can restart tomorrow on stage 2, and if they go to the end on run the 2 selective sections, they will be classified.
But if we have 3 selective sections or 5 during the race, how will...
If you have 3 selective sections and you retire in day 1 and you cannot do the first 2 selective sections, then you shouldn't be classified at the end of the rally.
So kilometers is not important only stages?
Yeah, the number of kilometers is not important. The only thing we consider is the number of selective sections.
Let's look at Baja, Greece. The event contained 4 selective sections. Therefore, to be classified, a crew needed to complete any 2 of them. Dania Akil retired during the first selective section, while Maria Gameiro retired during the second. Both crews restarted on the following day, completed the 3rd and 4th selective sections, and were classified at the finish of the event. Benedictas Vanagas retired during the 3rd selective section, while Hamed Al-Wahaibi and Abdulaziz Al-Kuwari retired during the 4th. Nevertheless, all 3 crews were classified because they had completed at least 2 of the rally's 4 selective sections, meeting the FIA requirement for inclusion in the final results. Now, compare that with Italian Baja. Italian Baja 2026 consisted of only 3 selective sections. Therefore, to be classified, a crew had to complete at least 2 of them. Dania Akil and Aliya Koloch both retired during the first selective section and, as a result, were not classified in the final results. However, Dania Akil restarted on the following day, completed stage 2, and still collected bonus points for both the prologue and stage 2. Despite not appearing in the final classification. Lionel Baud, Saud Variawa, and Abdulaziz Al-Kuwari successfully completed the first selective section, retired during the second, finished the third, and therefore satisfied the FIA requirement of completing at least 2 of the rally's 3 selective sections. As a result, they appeared in the final classification. Hamed Al-Wahaibi did not finish the 3rd selective section, but because he had already completed the 1st and 2nd selective sections, he still met the FIA classification requirements and was classified at the finish of the event. But there is one crucial detail. If a crew retires during the first selective section, it cannot simply repair the car and restart from the 2nd selective section later that same day. Why? In the past, some provisions allowed competitors to restart after retiring during the first selective section. For that reason, the regulations were simplified. If you retire at any point during the day, you can restart only on the following day.
So we have the question of why, when a driver cannot finish SS1 and come back to the service park, he cannot restart SS2 during the same day. All is based on the fact that you need to complete the stage, and completing the stage is following the roadbook, completing the time card. So when you exit SS1 and you come back to service, you are no longer in the competition for the stage. And the cross-country rally is a sport made of endurance, so you need to complete the whole day to be classified. In the past, we had some provisions which could allow some competitors to restart when they failed in SS1, but it was very complicated to implement for the organizers, and it was also sometimes unfair because you needed to recover the car and to bring it back to the bivouac to restart, so it was possible for some competitors, it was not possible for some others, so it could be perceived as unfair. So we decided to simplify the regulations, mainly for the organizers. So if you retire any time in the day, you can only restart in the following day.
This brings us to Baja Aragón. Like Italian Baja, Baja Aragón features only 3 selective sections, 2 on the first day and 1 on the second. Failing to finish the first selective section automatically means a crew cannot be classified. The first selective section therefore becomes a strategic choice: attack and risk losing the final classification, or manage the pace and keep the result alive. Did you already know this FIA rule? And would it change your approach to the opening 162 kilometers of Baja Aragón? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoy these audio versions of our magazine articles, please like the video and subscribe to Cross Country Rally News. Together, we can make Rally Raid coverage even more accessible and interesting.